Today's lesson is topic 8.1, arrays and multiplying two-digit numbers. The objective for today is that you will use arrays to multiply two-digit numbers by two-digit numbers to find the product. In your notes, be sure to have the title written down. I would also like for you to go ahead and write down this problem today in your notes. A theater has 14 rows of seats with 23 seats in each row. How many seats are in the theater? Cube the problem. Well, we know with our cubing skills that we are going to go ahead and circle our numbers. So on this one, I'm circling my numbers. For right now, what I'm really going to try and do is figure out what is the equation I'm going to use to solve this problem. The theater has 14 total rows, so if I'm visualizing what that looks like, my rows go this way, so that means that there would be 14 total of those. And in each row, I've got a total of 23 seats. I'm not going to draw all of those out yet, because we're going to go ahead and glue in, if you have not already, the graph paper that you were given for your notes. Go ahead and glue that in your notes today. On your graph paper, we are going to begin separating this out because if each of my 14 rows have 23 total seats, I'm looking at creating a problem that looks similar to this. So I will have 23 times 14. On your graph paper, we're going to separate this out so that we can separate all of our major numbers, kind of like if we're breaking a number apart. So if I look at my graph paper, I went ahead and colored mine, and that's what you're seeing right here. Looking at my graph paper right here, all the way across from here, all the way over, is a total of 23. So that's where I got my first number. So I've got 23 going that way, and then going all the way from here down, I have a total of 14. When I broke apart 23, I broke apart my place values. So I have 20 and 3. That's where you see these numbers that I went ahead and wrote down. I do want you completing this in your notes on your graph paper. If you do not have different colors, that's fine. Just make sure that you are drawing a thick line on the line that separates each of the parts. When I talk about separating my parts, I'm thinking about what I just did with breaking apart. So I broke apart my number in 20 and 3. Well, so I have this first part from here over is 20. Then I have my 3 going this way. It'll make a little bit more sense why we're doing this a little bit later, but right now, go ahead and take care of it. And make sure you have your labels written down, so this top one is 20, and this other top one is 3. We're going to do the same thing going down the side, but this time, I have my 10, because I broke apart 14, into 10 and 4. So I've got 10 going down this way, and then I've got my 4 going this way. In each one of these grids, I have a different multiplication problem that I use to solve. Well, in this green box that I have on here, I have 20 going this way and 10 going this way. Well, just from what we know, from what we've learned in the past, the multiplication problem I would use to solve right here would be 20 times 10. I do want you to have this part included in your notes as well. And make sure you write it inside your box so that you can see it. So 2 times 1, again, we multiply our non-zero digits. 2 times 1 is 2, with 2 zeros on the end, which gave me my answer of 200. I'm going to do the same thing looking at my next box. So again, I have 20 going this way, and I have 4 going down this way. So that gives me the equation of 20 times 4. Multiply those non-zero digits. 4 times 2 is 8, with 1 zero put on the end. So I end up with my answer of 80 in this box. Now I go over here. I have 3 this way, and I have 10 this way. So that leaves my equation of 3 times 10. Well, that is one of our basic facts, so we know our answer pretty quickly this time on that, which gives us 30. Same thing down here. I've got 4 going this way, and I have 3 going this way. Again, that's one of our basic facts of 4 times 3, which gave us that answer of 12. We're going to take what we're using today, using this kind of grid idea, to use what we call a box diagram. The next equation we're looking at is this. So you should have been given a box diagram to glue in your notes. So make sure you have that glued in. And let's go ahead and write on the outside edges the numbers that you see on the outside edges of mine. So at the top, we have 20 and 3, and on the outside, we have 10 and 4. Well, if you think about what we just did on this one, those are the same numbers in my boxes, but the sizes of my boxes, it was what looks a little bit different this time. So now I'm taking a look at this. Again, I'm going to write down the equations that I'm using to solve. Well, from right here, I've got From right here, I have 20. So I write down 20 times whatever number is going right here. We just did that equation, and that's how we got 200. Well, over here, again, I start with what I have over on the top, which is my 3. I go over to the side, but I have to look all the way over here, and I see that I've got my 10. So I end up with 3 times 10, which would be 30. When you're doing a box diagram for right now, I do want to see this portion in your notes as well. Now I'm going to look down at the bottom part. Well, again, I see what's going up here, and I have 20 times whatever number is on this outside, which would be 4. Well, again, 2 times 4 gives me 8, and I bring that 0 back on the end. And this one, I have to take a look at what's on the very top up here and what's on the very side over here. So I kind of think about if I put my finger at the top and I put my finger at the side, and if I met in this middle box, what 2 numbers was I looking at? So I was looking at 3 times 4, which is equal to 12. Well, now we're looking at a bunch of different parts of my answer. So I bet you're already thinking, well, now what? Now, we're going to use our idea of partial products. We've talked about partial products before, so you should already have that definition in your notes somewhere. But once I multiply all of my answers or all of my numbers, I have 4 different partial products in this one. So when you're doing a 2-digit by 2-digit problem, you end up with 4 partial products. So you think about how many digits there are total. When I have my product, when I have part of my product, but I remember they're only partial products, and with partial products, we always go to add them together. The answer written in a number sentence would be 23 times 14, but I haven't added my partial products yet. So we're going to make sure we do that in your notes. So you should have all of your answers from your box, which was 200, 80, 30, and 12. Now, like I said, these are called partial products, so we're going to add those together and get our answer of 322. Again, make sure you have that written down in your notes too. Now, today, what I would like for you to do is your guided practice problems number 1 and number 2. Go ahead and do your best. If you forget what to do, go back and look at the examples that we just finished together.